Hello, good day, Dr. Rohani. My name is Yong Fatt from Johor Bahru Learning Center. Today, I'm going to explain to you my assignment for HMEC5413 Homeschool Partnership and Community Partnership in Early Childhood Education and Care, which is for assignment for September 2019. So before I start with my presentation, I would like to make a simple introductions about my assignment for the semester 2019. As we know, nowadays a lot of family whereby the both parents are working, and therefore the demand for the early childhood education has increased is increasing tremendously from year to year, because most of the parents, they will send the children to the early childhood education for care, and then therefore there is a high expectations for the early childhood education educators such as the preschool teacher to have a academic qualification which is specialized in early childhood education, because strongly believe that the teacher who possess the high qualifications in the early childhood educations, they manage to use the appropriate developmentally appropriate practice and design the suitable curriculum for the young children. However, the teacher involvement in early child education is not enough. So parental involvement in the early child educations has been stressed and has need to be taken considerations, because the parental involvement in the early child educations is found to have a positive effect to the development of the young children in every aspect. So the family and school partnerships is said to play the important role in the development of the young children. So this is the main things which need to be discussed in this assignment, which is regarding the collaborations between the family members and the school in order to have a better development in the young children. So basically in this assignment, there are two tasks being given. The first one is to observe a child of the special circumstances. So in this assignment, I'm going to observe the child with a developmental delay and also facing some attachment problem. While the second task is I have to discuss about how the parents and teacher relationship may affect the child development. For example, in terms of the emotional response shown by the parents and teachers, and also the benefits of their cooperations between the teachers and the parents. So now I'm going to tell you about the background of the child which has been selected for this assignment. So I have selected a child which is given the nickname as Jiron in this assignment. So he is actually a child which is a 5 years old boy, and then he was born in Philippines, and he was brought to Singapore at the age of 2 years old, since both parents are working in Singapore. So before he come to Singapore, he is actually taken care by his grandmother in Philippines, because both of the parents are started working in Singapore and their jobs are not so stable. So that's why they can only put their child with their grandparents, and they are working in Singapore. So after 2 years, then the parents bring him to the Singapore. So I have done the observations in the classroom whereby the Jiron study at. So in the classroom observations, I found that Jiron did not interact much with his classmate, and he only interact or talk to the same childrens, like for example one of his best friend in the classroom, and also he also talk in the short and simple words, like for example if he want to go to toilet, he will tell the teachers like toilet. Okay, instead of saying that I want to go toilet. So sometimes the pronunciations is making people quite hard to understand, and also he did not respond to the teacher while the teacher giving him some questions during the teaching process, and he also tried to avoid eye contact. I can see that he is feeling not confident to give the answer to the teacher. Okay, after I have done the observations in the Jiron's classroom, I also have the chance to interview the teachers and the parents of Jiron, because before I observe the children in the classroom, I have to get the permissions from the parents and also the teachers. So according to the teachers, they were having hard time to deal with him when he was just started schooling, because he did not talk as compared to other children, and he will show his aggressiveness and keep on crying when he wanted some things, because he don't know how to express his emotions properly. And also he refused to join the learning activities which is given by the teacher. For example, the teacher is trying to use some fun and interesting activity to attract the children attentions, but then the children will refuse to take part in the activity, and instead he will play with his own pencil case or eraser and sitting alone at the back of the classroom. Also, So the after that, the teacher did not give up, and he keep on using the alternative teaching approach, like the play-based learning approach, because the teacher feel that the play-based learning approach is very useful for the children who have special needs, because through the play-based learning approach, it can help to increase the interactions between the young children, so that the children can interact with the other children. And we know that the peer tutoring is very important, especially in helping the children with the special need. So after a period of time of using the play-based learning approach, so the teachers found that there is some improvement found in Jiron. And also I have interviewed with the Jiron's parents. So according to them, they are also having hard time to communicate and get closer with Jiron's when they first brought Jiron to Singapore, because before this they stay with his grandmother. He stayed with his grandmother, so that's why he's actually very close to his grandmother. But when he was being brought to Singapore, he cannot get closer with his parents, and he did not even talk with his parents. So the parents are trying to send him to the daycare center in order to see any improvement or not, but sadly the teacher said that there is not much improvement from him, because they are trying to communicate with him, but he refused to. So the teacher suggested to send him for the early interventions programs, because the teacher also suspected the children have some kinds of developmental problems. So after he get diagnosed under the early interventions program, he was diagnosed to have a developmental delay, especially the speech ability. So the early intervention specialist has suggested the parents of children to send him for the special education program. However, due to the high education cost for the special education program, his parents decided to send him for the preschool, which is having the inclusive educations. So the inclusive educations is actually within the classroom. There is typical development young children, and also the children with the special needs, because it is believed that if you let the children with the special needs to learn together with the children which is typical developed, they will help each other, and it will try to help to improve the children with the special needs. Next, we come to the theoretical analysis of the child, families, and school relationships. So in this assignment, I am going to use the ecological system theory, which is proposed by the Brenner. So we know that every child from since they're born to this world is getting the chance to involve in the various kind of ecosystem which are related to each other and interact to bring about the changes to the development and life of the children in the different aspects. So that's why in the ecological system theory, there are 5 different levels of ecosystem which is believed to have the certain effects on the development of the young children. So the 5 levels of the external environment factors, from the most intimate home ecological system to the largest school ecosystem, and also to the broader system which include the society and culture dealing with the children's life, are all being discussed under this theory. So next slide, I'm going to explain to you each level of the ecological system theory. So as what I said just now, under the ecological system theory, there are 5 different levels. So starting from the first level, which is the microsystem, and the second level is mesosystem, exosystem, macrosystem, and the last one is the chronosystem. So under the microsystem, this ecosystem has the direct contact with the young children, such as the immediate family members, the neighborhood, and also the school, like the teachers and the peers. Then followed by the second system, which is the mesosystem. So this mesosystem consists of the interactions between the 2 microsystems, such as the school and the teachers, as the school and the parents. So that's why in this level of ecosystem, we strongly stress the importance of the collaborations between the parents and the teachers. So the connections between the families and neighborhood and all the school, they have the strong effect on the child's development. And the third one is the exosystem, which is the economic system, the education system, government agency, and the work policy, the policies of the workplace, the working hours, all that, which have not direct contact with the young children, but they have the indirect effect on the children's. And then also the next one, it will be the macro system, which is the social value, cultural values, custom and belief. And the last one is the chrono system. So chrono system is something which is related to time, whereby the changes over the time, for example, like a family members is having the divorce, and also the getting another child, so there is the changes over the time, and also some historical event, the biological changes and the physiological changes. So these are the five level of ecosystem which is being discussed under ecological system theory. So now I'm going to make a linkage between the ecological system theory and also my targeted child, which is gerund. So in the microsystem, which is the immediate environment such as the home and school, I would like to discuss about the case of the gerunds to link it with the analysis of the theory. So both parents of the gerunds are working in Singapore and stay apart from gerunds at first. So since he was young, so the parents found very difficult to connect to their child after they brought the gerund to Singapore, and he was also separated from his primary caregiver, which is his grandmother, when he was 2 years old. Because for the first 2 years he was taken care by his grandmother. Then after that, he was brought by his parent to Singapore. So that's why he was being kept apart from his primary caregiver, which he has established a strong bond with them. So in these cases, I would like to say that Nigerians is actually facing some attachment issue. That's why he found very difficult to relate to others. And also he most probably faced the issue of attachment because he found difficult to express his emotions in a proper way and difficult to build relationship with others, as what I can see in the classroom observations. And also his parents shows the patience and love and care toward him, and he started to get closer with them after the period of time, because his parents know that it takes a longer time for him to adapt to the life with staying with them. And then since Jiron is having a developmental delay, his preschool teacher also adjust the teachings and learning approach so that it can meet the he could learn like the other children's. And also with the play-based learning approach, Jiren shows an improvement in terms of the communication and interaction with others, because through the play-based learning such as the sand play, water play or any other play activities in the classroom, it's allowed the Jirons to play with other children, whereby they interact with each other, and also the other children will also guide him in the activities. So next I would like to talk about the mesosystem, which is the interactions between the two or more microsystems. So in this slide, I'm going to talk about the interactions between the parents and also the school, like the teachers and peers. So the parent-child interactions at home will actually influence the activities and also the interactions of the child with the teachers and peers at the school settings. So one aspect of the Jira mesosystem which I'm going to talk about is the relationship between his teachers and also the parents. So his parent will update the teachers about his conditions at home, and also the teachers will also give feedback about the behavior and or any improvement shown by Jiron at school. So the collaboration and the partnership between the parent and the teachers are very important to have a positive effect toward the child's development and the achievement, because both of them will have the synchronizations, and also they will use the same method to teach Jirons, whether no matter is at home or at school. And the Jiron school will also organize the parent-teacher meeting and also some weekend family activities to increase the parental involvement in the child's schooling, because the school believes that the involvement in the parents in the schooling of young children is very important to help the children to develop in all aspects, like they will feel more conducive to learn in the school environment. Next, I would like to talk about the exosystem, which have no direct interaction with the young children, but it has an indirect effect on the children's development. So when the Jirons was first coming to Singapore, he was being sent by his parent to the childcare center because both of his parents have a long working hours, and also they have no time to sometimes they have to work overtime due to the workload given by the company, and that is why they have to hire the helper sometimes to help them to take care of the Jirons at homes. So during that period of time, Jiran was actually not close to their parents, and he also don't want to talk to their parents. So after Jiran's mother had gave birth to another daughter, which is the younger sister of Jiran, when the Jiran was 3 years old, so she decided to stop his previous job, which is the full-time job, and then she decided to change it to the part-time tuition teachers, because she feel that this part-time tuition teachers have give her the flexibility in terms of the time management, because he can spend more time at home to take care of the child, and also spend more time with the kids at home to interact with them. So now Jirans are getting closer to his parent, especially the mother, because the mother will spend more time to accompany them at home, and also he built a strong relationship with his younger sister. So that is the from this condition we can see that the exhaust system, although it has no direct contact with the young children, but it does bring some effect to the development of the children also. So next I'm going to talk about the adaptations of parents and teachers toward the child's special circumstances. So in the case of Jiron, I would like to talk about the two special circumstances faced by Jiron. The first one is the insecure attachment, and the second one will be the developmental delay. So for the insecure attachment is actually saying that the Jirons is having difficulty in connecting with others, and also regulating his emotional express, and also he will also feel unsafe and like to stay alone, and lack of trust towards the others, and feel fear to get close with anyone. As we can see that in the during my observations in the classroom, I can see that Jeron did not communicate with others, and also when the teacher asking question, he is trying to avoid any eye contact with the teachers. So this shows that the Jeron is actually facing some attachment issue. And also at home, according to their parents, Jeron did not communicate much with them when they first brought him to Singapore. So this is because this is most probably due to the fact that Jeron is having some attachment issue, whereby he is being separated from his primary caregiver and suddenly being brought to Singapore to stay with his parents, whereby before this his parent is not staying with him. So that's why he is facing some difficulty to get closer with the others. And also in terms of the developmental delay, Jiron unable to speak properly even in the simple words and also the brief sentence. So and when he pronounce certain words, it is very quite difficult to understand what he speak due to his pronunciations, and maybe due to the some of his problem with the muscle at the jaw here, so make him difficult to pronounce the word properly. And also he will only say only the certain words and sound repeatedly, and can't use the oral language to communicate. So these are some of the special circumstances which encountered by the parents and the teachers when the Jirons are first brought to Singapore. And now actually that Jiron is starting to show some improvement. So let's see what are the adaptations which have been done by the parents and teachers toward his special circumstances. So next I'm going to talk about the adaptation which has been done by the parents and also the teachers toward the Jiron special circumstances. So the first adaptations done by the parents is reframing, which means that replacing the negative thoughts with the positive one. So they never give up the Jiron's developmental problem. However, they show the patience and love toward the Jirons, and they try to help him to overcome the problem faced by Jirons. And also they are trying to gain the social support from both the informal such as the relative and friends, and also the formal support which include the institutional and professional support such as the early intervention specialists, because according to them, at first when they know that their child are having some developmental problems, they are actually very depressed, but after they have gained the advice and support from the other relative and also the professional specialists, they are trying to think the condition with a positive way. And another adaptations by the teachers is that they are trying to adjust the classroom management strategies, such as establishing norm rules and routines for the young children, as well as they are trying to arrange the physical layout of the classroom. Like for example, they allow the children to sit in groups surrounding the round table, and which this could help to increase the communications between the young children, and also the maximum number of the children within the classroom for the inclusive education should not exceed 15 students, because it is very difficult for the teachers to control the children and maintain the condition of the class. And another adaptations done by the teachers is that they are trying to adjust the teaching strategies and learning approach, such as implement the activity at various difficulty level, and also play based learning approach, because they want to, why they want to implement the activities at various difficulty, because some children with the special need might need longer time to complete the certain activities or missions. So that's why if the teachers can implement the activities at various level, then this can help the children with the special needs to build their confidence by doing the simple activities, and so that they can finish the activities in the time whereby same as the other children's. So next, I'm going to talk about the benefits of the teachers and parents cooperations on the child developments. So the successful parent and teacher partnership can result in the improved educational outcome and achievement for the young children. So this is because the parents is the one who provide the children with the first learning experience, and also develop the basic milestone in life, because the parent is the one which can help the children to adapt to the schooling, and also they provide the first learning experience such as walking, climbing, and also eating and talking. So all these basic milestone is developed with the help of the parents. So therefore the parents is said to have a deep understanding toward the child behavior and also the developments. So the communications between the teachers and the parents could be discussed about the desired outcomes or the goal which the parents want the child to achieve, and also the difficulties and the performance and the behaviors of the children in school, the child's homework and difficulties, as well as the participations in the school activities. So all these are the are the part which can be discussed between the teachers and the parents for the young children. So the first benefit which can be gained by the children from the cooperation between the teachers and the parents is that the children can learn in a more comfortable and conducive way to achieve their full potential. This is because the parents are the most influential educators for the young children, and they know the children well in every aspects. So the parents should collaborate with the teachers for the planning of the curriculum for the young children, and also the teachers need to take note of the parents' comments and the perspective of about their child, because they need to make sure that the teachings and learning approach is developmentally appropriate and meet the needs of all the children. So the second benefit which will be gained by the children from the cooperation between the teachers and the parents is that children can receive the academic or the social emotional support from both inside and outside of the formal learning time, which include the school and the home setting. So the parents who have the deep understandings about the things which experienced by the child at school environment can able to provide the extra support and guidance to their child when they are at home. And the education system in both the school and the home setting should be unified through the collaborations between the teachers and the parents. For example, like the consistent rule to be established both in school and at the home setting, so that they can able to provide a familiar and friendly atmosphere for the young children to learn. And the collaborations between the teachers and also the parents also allowed them to know about their children's behavior both in school and at home, and discuss the way to deal with them. So these are some of the benefits which will be gained by the children from the collaborations. Next, I'm going to talk about the emotional response of the parents and teacher, which will create the barrier to the child development, especially the negative emotional response. So we know that the parents and teacher might show either the positive or negative emotional response when dealing with the young children. For example, the parents and teachers might face the emotional distress due to the some circumstances, such as the childs who are misbehaving, and also their own family issue and others. So the children's development is strongly affected by our emotions, because the children used to learn through modelings. Therefore, in when we deal with the young children, especially the children with the special needs, we have to try to avoid the negative emotional response, because this brings so much effect to their development. So the children who are exposed to the parental depression, for example, and also the anxiety continuously, can cause the children to have a high tendency for the development of the social and emotional problems. For example, if the parents easy to get angry with them, then they are feeling fear to connect to others, because they have no confidence to talk to others, and they might scare to be scolded by others also. And then the preschool teacher should not show their negative emotions in front of the children, because they will feel not comfortable to learn and anxious to come to school. So that's why we say that the emotional response of the parents and teachers is very important for the child's development, and we should not let our negative emotions to become the barrier for the child development. So in conclusion, parental involvement in the early childhood education is very important to facilitate the development of the young children, and this is especially true for the children with the special needs or special circumstances like Gerons in this assignment. And the relationship between the three components, which are the child, parents and teacher, have to be analyzed using the have been analyzed using the ecological system theory, and we can see that the interactions between the ecosystem and the young children has so much effect on their development. So the adaptations by the parents toward the child's special circumstances include the reframing and also seeking for the social supports from both formal and informal authorities. These adaptations is very important to prevent that to prevent the parents from feeling depressed by and discouraged by the child's special circumstances. And also another adaptations done by the teachers toward the child's special circumstances include adjust their classroom management strategies, such as they try to establish the norm, rules and routines for the young children, and also they try to adjust and modify their teaching and learning approach so that they are able to meet the individual need of each children's. And also they also try to use the alternative materials and activities for the young children's. And then the benefits of the parents and teacher collaborations include the child can get the academic and social emotional support at both home and school setting. So all these benefits can be gained through the strong partnership between the parents and the teachers. And we must always remember that as the parents and teachers, we must try to avoid the negative emotional response when dealing with the young children, because it will bring the harmful effect to their development. Okay, so these are from me. Thank you so much. So these are my presentations for my assignment, and see you again. Bye bye.